what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the debate show. We got a panel with me today. And listen, man, we got a lot to discuss, man. A lot to discuss. Some interesting developments on so many things. Here with me to discuss it on the debate show, we got Brian, Elite Pundit, always rattling people on Twitter. There's other people that do that as well, but Elite Pundit is one of them as well. Brian, how are you today, my friend?
Feeling good. Manchester United is back to ruin our weekends, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah, definitely. We got Staffy in the building. Man just woke up a few hours ago because he's playing pro clubs all night. But Staffy, how are you, man?
Listen, man, it was worth it. 4 hours of pro clubs. We only lost 3 games. I'll give the big six to work whenever you guys want it. But listen, man, I'm here. A lot of news I woke up to, not really good ones. Injuries, fallouts, stuff like that. But we're here. We're here. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. We got man like Danny here as well. Danny, listen, man, I want to hear what you got to say, man, because these injuries, man. Listen, I don't know what's going on. I need to hear the background to these injuries. But
I,
Danny, how are you,
I,
bro?
I'm good. I've got a lot to say. Yeah, I'm good though. But I've got a lot to say about that topic.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Big up to Danny. And also we got Usman in the building. Usman, how are you, man? Good to see you as well, man. Busy, but you know what? You're here, man. You're here.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm already draining. The weekend's haven't started, man. I swear to God, but it's just like it's never ending process as my United fans in it. But listen, as always, man, make sure you slap the like, people, make sure you subscribe, and then let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to everybody watching. Nearly 300 in here already, man. Make sure you like the video, people, man, because I'm not happy, man. I was actually doing a video on Deluded Gooner, shout out to Deluded Gooner's video, and then I got the news about another injury, and that is Mason Mount. I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans in the building, probably laughing at us right now. And listen, they got 65 million for him. It is what it is. But Mason Mount picked up an injury as tests took place today in order to understand for how long he won't be available. Mount determined to work hard and return as soon as possible after an unfortunate beginning of the season. Stanley, I'll start with you. Um, is this becoming a bit too much now? What is it? Where do you put it down to? Because he's not playing a lot of games, by the way. So it's not for me any impact injuries or stress to his body. But is it training? Is it the methods from Tanakh? Is it just him? What is it? Give me your understanding of what's gone on here, man. Mason Mount injured now. Second time this season already.
Well, look, the first issue is the football calendar. So
Yeah.
our squad has found themselves in a sort of messed up situation where we've had Jose, we've had Ollie, then the COVID calendar, a Winter World Cup, this stupid creation of a Nations League that no one cares about, right? And we're in an era where everybody wants to play high intensity pressing football, right? So that's the recipe for disaster, all of those factors. But whether people like it or not, on top of that, you've got a coach who's also a madman. I already know Structure's probably, he's chewed your ear off about this already. But this goes back to last season, overplaying players, minimal rotation, right? You're taking over from Jose and Ollie. You have a group of players who their bodies haven't been trained to do what you want, right? And then you decide, and he said it himself, I want them to suffer. I think if they learn to suffer, they can become successful. These are his own words, right? And if you believe the United Muppeteers, who I think is a plant who does a lot of PR for the club, but he does get good info. And what he has said as Ten Hag basically has them doing high intensity running mid-season, when Pep has literally been on the record and says we don't do running during the season because it's too intense. We just do tactical work. So that's the root of the problem. That's why Man United last season were number one in the Premier League for injuries, and this season we're number one for injuries again. 2 seasons running. So whether people like it or not, as far as I'm concerned, the coach is contributing to this problem. It's as simple as that. At the start of the season, I remember talking to people that I know in Tottenham after the Tottenham game, and they're saying to me, your players don't look right physically. They don't look right. They look fatigued. They're not fatigued. They're overworked. But because it's Man United players and we don't like them, and they down tools and throw other managers under the bus, it's easy to say they're just being lazy. And the stuff that we're hearing about the intensity is just them being bad professionals. I mean, they would know they're in that environment. Maybe it is an issue. 2 seasons running, number one for injuries. I think there's something to it. And by the way, even how he manages the squad, like this football club covers up a lot, right? So they released the Malacia news during the Ineos media storm, right? What happened with Malacia? Most Man United fans don't even know. They think he got injured this season. No, Malacia was injured last season with a knee problem, and they had him on injections. That's why he had to have surgery. Everybody thinks he got injured in pre-season and it's a this season problem. No, it's from last season. They were going to manage it, then decided actually no, we'll have him have surgery, and they kept it on the hush that he was playing on injections. You know, I was just speaking on the space to somebody with Casemiro back from international break, can't pass a fitness test for the game before Newcastle. Then he starts against Newcastle injured. Eric Ten Hag in a press conference asked, is Lisandro Martinez over his injury after the Arsenal game? Eric Ten Hag, yes, he is. 2 fixtures later, reoccurring metatarsal injury. We watched him last. Saeed, what did I tell you last season? Martial against the Everton. Do you remember? I said if you
I remember the video. I remember.
Martial in that game, based on what we've seen, he's going to get injured if he plays it. Martial plays, injured after 45 minutes. Before the Reading game, here on Side TV, what did I say to you? Drop Ericsson. Reading are going to do. Someone's going to kick him. He can't withstand it. He's going to get injured. He's ran Casemiro into the ground. Like his squad management and clearly the way he trains is contributing to the problem. His idea of they must suffer is like those old school boxing trainers that want you to throw up. You know them guys, like if you didn't throw up, you didn't have a good session. If you didn't pass out at the end of the session, it weren't a good workout. That's an old way of thinking of how to build fitness. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm sorry, man. I think the managers contribute to it. A lot of people would disagree, but that's just my feelings.
Well, I'm going to bring Brian. I think maybe Brian might disagree with that opinion. I want to hear your point of view because it's difficult to disagree with Danny and that man. Because at the end of the day, Ten Hag doesn't rotate well. I mean, this one here for Mount, he is obviously a bit more different. He's not been playing games, but is it the intensity of the training? Does it go deeper than just a player just getting injured? Like, you know, this guy's 24. He's fit as a fiddle. You know, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. But where are you looking at it? Do you look at Danny's point of view? Have you got your own kind of analysis on it?
Yeah, I mean, I see Danny's point of view. I don't 100% disagree. The one thing I would say is that we don't know how intense the training is. Like, none of us are there watching the training sessions and we can judge specifically, all right, this training is too intense for the players. We don't know that. We can go off what some people are saying, like he mentioned the Muppeteers on Twitter, but there's no real way of knowing. I don't want to use speculation and judge, Ten Hag's training methods are too hard on the players, when some of the players who are getting injured are players who have always had injuries, even before Ten Hag. Varane has gotten injured before. Casemiro's injury was on international duty. You can go to the list. You know, Mount has had injuries at Chelsea before he joined United. So I'm not seeing anything that I'm like, okay, these are... Like if Bruno, for instance, got injured, then I'd be like, okay, this is a player that's never gotten injured. Like, this is actually a very unique situation. Even during under Ole, people were saying Bruno was playing too many games. He's getting fatigued. We've been here before. We've had this conversation with before. Under Jose, under Ole, even under Van Gaal, with people questioning training methods and whatnot. I don't really see where you can be certain that that's the issue. Going on to this season in particular, there's been a lot of injuries. You can't deny that. But again, Martinez's injury was a contact injury. Casemiro, the same thing. Højlund came with a back injury problem. Amrabat's the same thing. Shaw has been getting...
Martinez played on injections. That's why he got injured. Don't forget that.
He played injured, but then again, this is where fans need to be careful, right? Manchester United didn't have a squad doctor for how long? We just got one.
No, we've had a doctor. We've had a
head of the department we got from Arsenal this season.
It's just
we had a doctor. He just wasn't permanent.
We've got doctors. It's just a reshuffle on a different title.
That's what I mean, though. We don't know how strong that particular department is. So shifting that blame to the manager again for issues that we've seen before the manager doesn't really help the situation. These are part of legacy issues. If you want to say there's a conditioning problem at Manchester United, I completely agree with you. The players are not conditioned properly. It's been a long-standing issue for a very long time. That's things we can fix. As for training, I'm hesitant to blame the training because we've seen the same players struggle under coaches like Ole, who we said didn't train very intense, or Jose or LVG. We've seen different players with different training methods not have, like, still have injury problems. So if you're coming onto this season and saying it's Ten Hag, like, where do you go? How do you gauge what is too intense? People are saying high intensity sprints are the result of the contact injuries. How do you know that?
No,
Like, there's no way of knowing.
So
No.
what they know is when you have a high number of non-contact injuries, it indicates you're pushing yourself too much physically, right?
Okay.
And we're not just saying the training, that's just leaks from the players and Muppeters as a source. Fine, that's speculation, right? But we know he don't rotate. And we know what he said himself. He thinks they should suffer. So he's telling you his view of how he wants to treat his players. And then you see that with his lineups when he doesn't want to rotate. Although this season he's tried to change that, but it's too little too late. And you say we're seeing reoccurring injuries for players that we've seen before.
Yeah.
I don't remember Maguire being injured a lot before this manager. I don't remember Wan-Bissaka being injured a lot before this manager. You know, that there are other players, you know. So, and Bruno's a freak. I wouldn't even use Bruno.
Maguire had that big injury before for the Europa League.
Martial, I get it. Martial's body's gone, but it's not about, you can focus on individual players, but you look at the group. When you are number one for injuries, 2 seasons running, right? 2 seasons running.
There must be something.
There's something else. And people talk about the medical department. Like, that whole club doctor thing's a red herring. Like, you can go on Training Ground Group and you can look at our staff and how long they've been there for. It's a misrepresentation of just a reshuffle. Is what I'm saying to you. Like, the manager, like I've said, he's not the sole reason. I already spoke about the football calendar and the fixture list and all of those things. But is he mitigating those factors outside of his control? I'm not sure if he is.
I don't know. It depends. Like this, there's so you need high intensity training to be able to play a high intense way of playing, right? I don't disagree. His methods are high intensity because that's Ten Hag. My issue is saying this is the main reason. I'm not so sure that's the main reason because we've not had a squad that's been capable of playing that higher intense way of playing. So I'm not so sure. Like, you can blame Ten Hag, but I also think it's also a squad development issue where we've not signed players who are capable of playing this way. Because if you go to Liverpool, they've had Thiago who couldn't play the way Klopp playing. He ended up just having lots of injuries. Fabinho, he started declining with age. He couldn't handle it anymore. So I think it's a combination, but I don't think blaming the managers.
You've just done double standards.
Yeah, but my point is, I don't think
you just named 2 injury-prone players. When you're saying to Daniel, his point was based on injury. Like, Thiago Alcantara is known for injuries. Like, prior to Liverpool,
yes,
he was injured in Bayern.
You've just thrown his name in there after you've just done a full speech to Daniel about Ten Hag's had these injury-prone players. Like you. To be fair, Liverpool's a good example for what you're trying to say, but you can't use Thiago Alcantara, bro. Come on.
Liverpool did what we did. But Brian, I agree with you, right? That's why I said when you take over from Jose and Oli, it's the wrong approach in hindsight, of course, right? You know, to go from those managers who were more mid-block passive, they weren't doing high intensity. And then you choose you want to do high intensity, but you take a thin squad, don't rotate and go into 4 competitions and say they have to suffer. That's so your approach to it has been wrong. That's the issue. That's the problem. You know you've got players whose bodies weren't ready for that, right? But you've decided they're going to suffer and are not going to rotate. Then you had a stupid international break before pre-season. 8 pre-season games. Mount was fit for all of them, by the way. And then now you're number one again. You're number one again. It's November. And once again, you're number one for injuries. 2 seasons running. That makes your club an outlier. That means you're an outlier.
There's a pattern. We can agree there's a pattern.
And by the
there's
way,
a pattern. The problem is
4 competitions, by the way. The doctor left, did a lecture in an American university and showed everybody how many games their players were playing on the red line, by the way. excessive amount of football matches over 2 seasons on the red line. So you saw Liverpool, too much football on the red line, and then you saw what happened to them last season. Lots of injuries.
They collapsed.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like I said, it's just it's a balancing act. My issue is saying it's like you have to be careful, because if you go and say the manager shouldn't train as intense, you're effectively kind of disrupting the way he wants to build the squad with players who can handle the way he wants to play. He can't pick, like, Ten Hag is having to do these things where he's constantly picking and choosing his methods and when to apply them. Yeah, you can say that's his job, he's the manager. But at some point, you need to pick, this is the way I want to go, and you need to build with that. That's what I'm trying to be careful of.
I think he's disturbing his own methods, bro, because his methods are not making anyone available. So how can you say, you know, picking and choosing is disturbing his methods when you have no one to train? Who's he going to train when all these players are still injured? Like, it's
they're not all injured, though. That's the problem you have here. The
you
players
know what
who
I
are
mean?
getting
I don't
injured.
mean all 23
Yeah,
or
I know.
players we have are injured, but you know what I mean.
The players who are getting injured are players I would like. I'm not surprised they're injured. For example, like Shaw, we know he cannot handle high intensity for long periods of time, so maybe he needs to tailor like his training methods to suit certain players. Maybe he can do that, but those are things that he has to learn to. From trying, we know it because we've been fans and been watching these players for a long time. Ten Hag is entering the situation as a new like entity or a new manager or whatever, and he has to judge for his own mind. Okay, and the medical department also has to make that decision with him. Okay, this is what we're going to do for these players because they can handle this.
But managers ignore the medical department all of the time. They get the data and then they go and do what they want to do anyway. Look
It's
at
a stubborn
Casemiro,
manager.
for example.
Yeah.
Casemiro was not injury prone before he got here. Has he managed a 30-year-old? You got a 30-year-old who played in La Liga, comes to England. Do you think he's managed him well?
He's
Clearly-
absolutely killed him. Killed him.
Bro, I'm actually looking.
Three games a week, bro. He's forced him to play every. There's been games where we play some random team. Look at our League Cup run last year, the one that we won.
Yeah, I know.
There was so many games where we played against less opposition, and he's gone full strength 11. And I know Jose Mourinho used to do that as well, especially in the League Cup. He was notoriously known for that. And I understand there's other managers that have done that. But when you're in a situation when you're playing it every single 3 days and you're not training or whatever, the players are already fatigued. I'm not talking, you know, from like when the season starts to December. I'm talking after the World Cup, where they've just had a World Cup mid-season. Obviously, they've had a very intense season prior to the World Cup. They've come back off that, and you're playing lesser opposition that we should easily smoke with a rotated team. The guy starting Casemiro, the guy starting Rashford, you're starting Bruno. The full strength team is playing week in, week out. Then they got about 1 day's worth of rest. Then they got another game, and then the same pattern for about 6-7 months. I mean, for me, Brian, I think it's extremely naive on your part to suggest that there isn't a pattern. I mean, as Daniel's quite eloquently put a great, you know, point across, and you just completely disregarded everything.
I said I don't 100%. I said I don't 100% disagree.
No, I know you did acknowledge it, but the point is, like, how can you look at that and say it's not a coincidence that we've been at the top twice? I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, but okay, the first season you can give him a bye because, like you alluded to, you know, he's still trying to understand his players, and of course, it's going to take time to understand each individual player. There's 24, 25 plus different characters, so it's not going to be easy. But after the second season, how can you get worse? Like, surely you would actually expect somewhat of a progression in some departments. I feel like in every department, if you were to make a list of the things that you'd expect from a football club, we've gotten worse. Like, injuries being the number one issue. I mean, for me personally, the Casemiro situation is completely ridiculous. The Martinez situation, they're both unforgivable. And I've got to be honest, if Ollie did that, obviously I don't know your opinion, but I've got to be honest. If Ollie did that, I was extremely critical of him.
Ollie did it with a thinner squad. That's the difference.
No, but the thing is, I was critical when Ollie did it, and if I'm not critical if Ten Hag does it now, then that would make me a hypocrite. So for me, the Casemiro one, I'm sorry, he had other options to play in that position. And with the Martinez one, fair enough, you could probably make a case there wasn't many other options, but he's been out for what, 6-7 months, and you're throwing him into games, like very intense games against good opposition. So for me, he's caused his own issues. At the end of the day, like even Rashford right now, the guy's played every single week. He's not playing in form. He's basically consistently persisting with him because he's extremely stubborn and doesn't want to change things. I mean, you could quite easily give Rashford like 2 games off, 30 minutes here and there, and it might actually help him because he feels refreshed. But These guys don't even get a chance to come back fresh because every time they're on a break from United, they're playing international duty. To be fair to Bruno, obviously, as Danny's alluded to, he's a bit of an anomaly, really, because you can't really put any other players within Bruno's category in terms of fitness. So for me, the management of the squad has been absolutely ridiculously poor. I mean, he plays the same 11 regardless of the performance, regardless of the fatigue. And as the guys have already said, if they're in the red zone, he's still playing them week in, week out, man. And you've got to bear in mind as well, this isn't like 1980 or this isn't 1990s. The technology and the science that goes into football now and the data that you've got is absolute levels. The sports science within this generation is levels. They're well aware that these players are in the red zone. They know that. And you're constantly pushing them. And if Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest managers, if not the greatest manager of all time, is coming out and saying, I don't do intensity training because of X, Y, and Z, and he's got the luxury of rotating his squad, I'm surely you got to start taking notes and think,
Can I just be clear?
I must be doing something wrong here.
Pep was specific. I don't do intensity running. No intense running midweek.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you're playing every 2-3 days, you're not meant to be doing that anyway. So yeah, for me, I look, I'm not saying it's all tonight. Obviously the medical team, they need to take, responsibility as well. Of course, it's a combination. But as a manager, the book stops with you at the end of the day. And for me, it's not good enough, man. We've got it's too many injuries, bro. There's too many. It's not a coincidence. We can't keep crying about XYZ is injured. Why are you playing them? You've got other options. There's Palestri, yeah, he's not brilliant, but I rate him quite a lot. But he could definitely play over Rashford. I mean, Rashford for me is gonna get injured. He's injured already.
We're making a lot of assumptions, though. I don't mean to cut you off, but we're making a lot of assumptions with
you can't be
options.
Assumptions when the data is there, brother.
I'm saying in terms of the let's handle it section by section. In terms of the options that people keep saying Ten Hag has, in terms of other people to choose. Okay, let's look at the left wing options. If we don't play Marcus Rashford, and I'm not Marcus Rashford's biggest fan, you're going to play Garnacho. He started Garnacho on the left at the beginning of the season. Garnacho was poor. Okay, he wasn't very good. And with Palestri, he hasn't exactly we are looking at situations with Manchester City who have an exceptional squad, depth. First 11, second 11. Liverpool, the attacking depth is phenomenal. They can choose it. Almost 3 different front threes. Manchester United can do that, right? The quality level is going to drop. So unless fans are going to reevaluate their expectations and say, okay, we might go into this competition, we want to win the FA Cup, but we are going to play a weaker team and we might get knocked out. Or you have to just accept, you can't have it both ways.
Right, can I on the back of that, just sorry to interrupt you, bro, but you mentioned Bruno Fernandes under Oli, right? And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a period, I think it was at February onwards, Bruno Fernandes was killing it prior to February, right? Him and Rashford had a good season and whatnot, and their form just completely fell off a cliff. Do you remember? The reason, not because they became bad players or whatever it may be, they were just dead on their feet. They were literally dead on their feet. Them two in particular, they played every single game, and I remember it so clearly. And everyone was starting to get onto both of their backs and saying, "Oh, they're not good enough, yada yada." Bro, sometimes you got to look at it logically and say, no, I need to protect this player. I understand the point you're trying to make, saying X, Y, and Z is not available to come in and the quality is it's a big drop off from Rashford to Garnacho in some people's opinion. But
it is, man. I listen.
It's a huge drop off.
When are you going to protect these players though? Rashford's not going to perform. If he's in the red zone constantly, is he? He's going to be dead.
I think the bigger issue is now is obviously Mount now is injured. You know what I mean? It is a thin squad now. You know what I mean? I don't know if we now introduce Kobe Mino into this field now. Is it too early to start Kobe Mino? I mean, the options now we have is McTominay, we've got Amrabat, which again is not using, to be honest with you. Hannibal, who else is out there? Bruno. Fernandes. Donny van der Beek, I know he's there, but he's there. And you got Mino as well. So have I missed Eriksen as well? So you got 7 midfielders.
Eriksen's injured.
Eriksen is out.
Oh, damn, man. Bro, I actually forgot. Oh my days.
Yeah,
so
he got injured
who's
just
going to
before
start then? It's going to be
I think Amrabat, McDominay, and Bruno. Yeah, that's what I think he'll start. I don't think he's going to play Mino.
But again, have they even started this season together though? Have they even had a partnership? Staffy, are you worried about that midfield now? Are you kind of because you've got a lot of games, coming up, It's not just, You know, we got Newcastle coming in there. We got, Galatasaray in between. He hasn't even got time to rotate as well. You talk about rotation. There's no time to rotate. It's game after game after game with these lot in there.
First of all, if my mic bugs out, I apologize. Let me know. So I gotta fix the wire in it. Anyways, yes, I've been worried about this midfield before today, site. So today doesn't make it any better, really.
Yeah.
I've been worried about this midfield. Listen, am I a big advocate of Mount? No, I'm not. Is it good to have him as an option? Of course. And now we lost that as an option as well. And as we just mentioned, Ericsson is not there. Kobe Malino has been back and he's not trying to use him. Our options are very the 60 million. I still can't forgive him for that.
Yeah,
Listen,
no.
man, our options are very slim in that midfield, and they're not even good enough. We have 3 games coming up, and I think it was Usman that just said that. He said that the midfield is going to be Amrabat, Bruno, and McTominay. If I would have asked you at the end of the summer, name your starting midfield in, what is it? We're going into December now. McTominay wouldn't have been one of them because we all would have predicted that hopefully we were going to sell him in the summer. And here he is, probably our most essential player in the midfield because arguably he's the most informed and he's probably the first name on the team sheet right now for Ten Hag. It's an absolute shit show. I know we're sitting here talking about the injuries and all that. I just can't help it but think about the money that we wasted on this midfield. Because that comment just says, what was it? Blue Brother, big up Blue Brother, saying thank you for the 60 million. I just can't forgive that we paid 60 million on a player that we haven't been able to use, let alone now he's being injured. And I checked his injury record, by the way, while we were talking about injuries. I was just curious to know. No, it's not that. It's not even that. I checked his injury record. He's out with a calf injury, okay? So I'm looking at his injury record from 2018 to now. The guy has 0 calf injuries. He has not once been out with a calf injury. So this means this is a new injury. I was looking at hoping that this is a recurring injury where I can make an excuse for the manager. Like, you know what? He's had this injury before. Said it's a new injury. The guy's never had a calf injury. He was out last season with a pelvic injury about 2 months. Okay. He had multiple ankle injuries and he had multiple hamstring injuries. He has never once had a calf injury, and now he has a calf injury. And I don't think he was out with a calf injury in the beginning of the season. I think it was also a hamstring. So it's a new injury. That goes back to what we were talking about already, the training methods and all that, the intensity training. I don't want to go back and dwell over that. I just want to focus on the midfield that we're talking about. Saeed, I've been on your channel at least once a week now for the past 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And every time we talk about the midfield, I always say the manager will get the midfield wrong. He will get the midfield wrong. He will get the midfield wrong. Now he has no choice when it comes to midfield because we all know he's not going to use Kobe Mainoo anyways, and he's a kid and all that. So who are our options? You can't even approach games differently. Like you can't look because who are we playing? We're playing Everton away, we're playing Galatasaray away, then we're playing Newcastle away. 3 away games. All these teams play differently. You can't even look at these oppositions and be like, today I think the best midfield to match this team will be XYZ. We have no options. We actually have no options. Amrabat, who's been on the bench, has to play now because he's not been able to play him into a midfield that kind of suits him. And we made our complaints already about our 6s being, whoever's playing the 6 is being left isolated on the build-up and all that. Amrabat has no choice but to play now. It doesn't change anything. Like we're bringing him back after benching him about 3 games in a row now, and nothing has changed. So it's not like I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is more of a suitable midfield for him to come in and play in. It's not going to happen. Same as McTominay. We're going to use McTominay the same way he's been using the past few games, which is just like being that shadow striker behind Højlund, crashing in the box, playing as that 10 where he's not really a 10. He's more of a 10 just to be in the box. And Bruno doing his thing. I don't even know what Bruno does on the pitch anymore. We have such a bad midfield that I'm looking at all our oppositions coming into these next 3 games, and I think we lose all 3 midfield battles. And I don't even need to look at the team sheet on to who they have in the midfield. The only saving grace is that today I heard that Amadou Onana is out for Everton, and that's the one I was worried about. Yeah, I heard that he's out.
50-50. Yeah, 50-50.
Which is very good for us because if he was there, this guy was going to disturb our midfield all game. Our midfield's not even good. So that's probably the only saving grace. But we have a run of games that are all tough in 3 different competitions. You have a league game, and then you have a Champions League must-win game, and then you have the Newcastle game, which is in the cup. So it's 3 different competitions. as United fans, you want to stay in any competition as you want. Most of us, at
No,
least.
we don't.
Because
No, we don't.
with the, I was gonna say most of it. That's why I changed it mostly because I know you don't want us to be, but most of us do. Because we want to win something, and I don't see how these next 3 games we have a good midfield that fits these games. And why is Omar here, bro?
Oh,
Yeah,
This
nah.
guy again, bro.
See,
It's like, I
Nah,
can't get
leave
away
Omar
from
alone,
this
man.
guy, bro. I can't
well,
get
I
away
thought,
from
I thought I was gonna get a better entrance than that. I was gonna get like a round of
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Saeed maybe, but
Nah,
not from
big up
me.
Omar, man.
yo. Big up Saeed,
Big
big
up
up
Omar.
Brian, big up my elite pundit, big up my
Come
boy
on, man.
Jarvis. It's been a while,
Come
though.
on.
And where's Facundo? Facundo's not here today. Unless you
He-
took a day
he-
off.
Nah, no
He's here.
Facundo, no Facundo.
Oh, Facundo's here. All
He's
right.
here, he's here.
Yeah, when he
Yeah,
comes in, we'll
man.
give her a papa. And of course, big up Staffy TV, El Don Staffy. Big up my boy. What I
Yeah,
missed?
man.
What I
Big up.
missed? Sorry for the late arrival. Oh, there he is. Pelestri. Oh, Pelestri debut. Pelestri debut. There he is.
Two Usman's here. But no, you know what, man? I don't know. I don't think I don't think Maino will start. I don't think he'll get games.
He won't.
It's one of them where Ten Hag, I just don't see it happening for me. Kobe Maino getting games, but again, this is where you want to put him. Where do you want to start him? Innit? It's one of them. You have to introduce players at some point, Danny. I mean, are you worried about that midfield, Danny? Are you can he get the balance right for you, Danny? What are you saying?
Ten Hag and balance.
Oh, telling you.
This
Hey,
is
man
what
made
I'm
me watch
feeling. What's the debate about? My bad, Danny, for interrupting you. What's the
We're just
debate?
talking about the midfield at the moment with the injuries. Casemiro injured, Ericsson injured, Mount injured. We don't expect Kobe to come into the team. Amrabat
Yeah.
coming off, not playing any matches. I only played 1 game for Morocco. I'm just going to say, I already know, by the way, Amrabat's carrying an injury. Just let people know now. Don't expect if he gets injured. That's why he played only 1 game for Morocco.
Wow.
Anyway, so,
Wow.
yeah, like the midfield is the midfield. You talk about balance. The way he positions his players in midfield, he vacates it anyway side. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, I'll be honest though, the biggest problem is the attack. It's not the midfield. It's always been the attack. We've scored 13 goals in 11 games. 13.
Yeah, but does
13.
it somebody need to supply that attack, or is that how does that work? You know what I'm saying?
They can't finish their chances, and the manager, unfortunately, like I don't even want to go to. I'm sick of going on
I
this
feel like
coach. I've got too much shit to go on this culture. I'm just holding back. When it comes to the midfield, when it comes to the midfield, you can't even cook him because like Staffy already laid it out. I don't know what else is there. His options are his options. You got Amrabat, you chased him all summer, you got him. You're gonna play him, I hope. You got McTominay there after he saved you against Sheffield United or Brentford, whoever it was, and you got Bruno. That's gonna be the midfield. It is what it is. What I would like to see, Saeed, just play them in a balanced way. Go 4-2-3-1. Like most managers treat central midfielders like central midfielders, even if they're box to box, right? So I'd expect to see Amrabat and McTominay together. Staffy alluded to the DM being isolated. Going away to Everton, not a good game to leave your DM isolated, especially when it's Amrabat who's not even integrated into the team in the league properly. So I like just to see a normal double pivot side. That's it. I'm not asking for much. Play them as a double pivot. This McTominay playing, it's like 6 games since he scored. He's not even in good form. He's been playing well. People like high off that 3-game run he had where he looked okay and he bagged 2 goals. That was 6 matches ago. So, yeah, I don't want to see McTominay in this hybrid 8/10 role. Play him in the CM like Amrabat, next to Amrabat. You go on away to Everton. I know Diarra's not there, but Decore every now and again has given us problems historically when he's been in this league. From his days at Watford, that guy's given us problems. And at different times at Everton because he's a ball carrier, which is our biggest weakness, by the way, when we face ball carriers. I don't know if you guys have been watching Everton. Ghana's actually been pretty decent for them.
Yeah, Ghana, yeah, I know.
It's a Sean
We could
Dyche
do with him.
team, and it's a Sean Dyche team. You're gonna have a lot of second balls you need to win and all of that as well. So yeah, just set them up to be, balanced. I can't ask for more.
They just got spanked with the point deduction though. So are they really gonna come in like lively, feeling good?
Oh
Bro, that's what makes a story. That's what makes a story. You never know, bro.
How naive, brother.
So they're gonna come in and they're gonna want to win 3 points every game they play.
It's gonna be the opposite, bro. That's we don't know what Liverpoolians are like. That's not gonna deter them. That's gonna give them that injection of the ass that they were missing, bro. I'm telling you right now. It's
I
the
don't know,
opposite effect to what you're
it
thinking,
could
bro.
also mentally affect because they started
No,
very
it's
well.
you don't know what Liverpoolian people are like, brother. I'm telling you, Scousers, should I say that is the opposite of what you just
Yeah.
opposite of what
Omar,
you said.
They're
They're
gonna be on it.
going to
Shouldn't
be
be on it.
fully up for
Who
it.
have you seen us outperform?
They are going to be up for it. That stadium to be rocking, bro. Watch.
Omar, who have you seen us
not
outperform
in-
this season?
Who you see us what?
Who have you seen us outperform?
Boy. I can't
Nobody
lie.
struggles
We
for an
stayed in the
answer.
game against Arsenal.
Oh no,
I think
Palace.
Arsenal was kinda mad.
Palace B team. Palace B team.
Yeah.
Okay,
And maybe Arsenal away
Come
for a
on.
little bit in terms of we kept
No,
them in check.
Spurs
And maybe
first half.
Tottenham as well for
Spurs first
one half.
Yeah.
Spurs
And
Go on,
that's
first.
it.
Fagan.
One half,
Yeah.
they outplayed us.
You know what
Second
you
half,
man are doing?
completely
You know what I
outplayed
can
us.
hear? You know when you're on the phone to your friend and they're scraping the pot and you can hear it screeching in your ears? You know, scraping
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pot.
yeah.
Proper scraping the barrel, man. It's actually embarrassing. What, play like 20 games?
Then you know
One
when
half
this is
against
you
Tottenham
know
Hotspur,
that you know that game show, Become a Millionaire or whatever, and you phone your friend. You're like, yo, what games did we outperform, son? That's Omar right now. He's gonna call someone. Yo, what games did we outperform? He's gonna call Griggs. He's gonna give him like
Man's
3
clutching
games,
on
maybe.
straws, you know. Oh my
So
man.
the Palace game, the Spurs first half, the Arsenal second half. Come on, bro, that's embarrassing, bro.
I think we
had
just-
some glimpses. We had some glimpses. Let's not be so negative. We had some.
Yeah.
Said
I think
the
we just need to
Palace
approach the
team-
game and play.
Unless you played against Bayern. Come on, Usman. We had some glimpses. He started. We had some good.
Oh
glimpses.
yeah, I mean, let's not get into Palestra after that international break. You've been very quiet since, you know. I've not heard from you.
I have.
Bro.
Did he get injured?
Unbelievable international break.
He's injured as well.
I know. What
Yeah,
can
he
you
did
say?
as well.
Omar's cursed him.
Oh, yeah, go on, go on, man. You're gonna say
That
something
does
different.
assist, and I almost had that not today, brother.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we just need to approach the game and play like Danny said, a balanced way. We can't go and do what the Hag was trying to do at the start of the season with super vacated midfield and inverted fullbacks. Shaw will be back, so hopefully that helps the defense out. I expect Wan-Bissaka to play, and it's probably going to be Maguire and Varane with the
Varane
centre
can't
backs.
play.
Oh, it might not be Varane.
Well,
It might not be
Evans
Varane. You never know.
Evans is out. I don't think he'll
Lindelof.
play
Could be
Lindelof.
If he's playing, my
Could be
brother,
Lindelof,
Varane's
man.
not playing after his comments.
Listen, Varane's done, man.
He's
I
playing
don't know
Lindelof,
about
but
you
he
guys,
said
but I think
Maguire
Varane's
or
done.
Varane.
Wait,
He's
so
done,
who
he's
made
done,
the
man.
Oh, he's
who
gone.
made the comments with the Varane situation?
Varane's gone,
What do you
bro.
mean
He's
you made the
gone, man.
comments?
Like I
Ten
saw
Hag
that
said it himself.
basically he's ready to leave, and United's ready to cash out.
It's just it's mostly speculation. He probably wants to go, or he probably wants to leave, but he hasn't
Gone.
said anything to the media himself. But I expect Varane will probably leave either in January or in the summer.
But honestly, this is my thing, right? Because perfect example is the Mason Mount situation. None of the fan base already rated him. None of the fan base, basically, they didn't even want to see him in the lineup. Now that he's hurt, it's a situation. So I'm just very confused, like on how.
What with
How does
Varane?
this-
With Varane?
No, I'm speaking
What?
about
Who did-
Mason Mount. Mason Mount.
Oh, right.
Varane,
Oh, yeah,
too. But Varane was a massive player that we took heat from Real Madrid fans when they called us clown and we rinsed y'all on 55 million for Varane. We could all agree. We got
We didn't
bothered.
pay
Everybody
55. Was it not like 35?
40 million pounds.
whatever that price was.
Bargain, man. Bargain.
Everybody, some people, we seen it as that in the beginning. We got Champions League Varane, but gets hurt a lot. And then that was our complaint. Yo, this guy is made out of glass, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He can't stay consistent. He can't stay this. Sell him in the summer. Sell him to Saudi.
Yeah.
I've been said this. So it's just like,
The hilarious thing is that Varane's best form came under Ten Hag last season.
which
That's-
the towns were in the middle.
No,
Which
the
is-
funny thing, Brian, is Ten Hag wanted to get a right centre back, even though he has 4 of them, and he was going to run into this problem anyway, and never had a
Exactly.
conversation with Varane about reduced minutes, even though the 30-year-old Varane retired from international football a year ago.
But how do you know that though?
Or he has limitations. And
But how do you know? How do you know he didn't have a conversation with him about reduced
Oh,
minutes?
because Varane's reaction tells me.
Yeah, Varane's
Because-
reaction tells you a lot.
It's not-
That
it's
tells
not-
you a lot.
It's not. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I don't need to be in a dressing room and need a journalist to tell me everything. I have eyes. When I see Eric Ten Hag like a pussy wants to give Varane a pat on the back, but he's shook and Varane ignores him and walks past him, my eyes can see the body language. I can see it.
Varane
I
wants
saw
to play
that last
games.
I
Whether
saw
he
that-
had a conversation with
I saw
him,
Eric Ten Hag go to, the manager, Saeed, it's just the standard thing in football. Subs coming on, pat on the back, right? Yo, high five, go play. I see him do, little and
Oh,
Varane
you
just
an analyzer.
This
Yeah,
is
so-
this is the
Yeah.
height of Manchester
Right,
United fans
yeah,
over
Brother,
analyzing.
you know what it is? I
Like,
think
come
some
on,
people-
you're analyzing a brief interaction that maybe was awkward into this big thing that it really isn't.
Okay, it was.
Ten Hag is the
You
man.
know, Elite Pundit, so far on the stream, you have not called out anything that's negative, though. If people
I
don't know
'cause
anything
we're
about
talking
United,
about league, that's why.
have we talked about anything that wants me to call something out negative? We've not talked about the performances in the past. We're talking about injuries and awkward situations with Varane and the manager.
It is
Like what?
Well, you don't think there's an
Like,
issue with
you're
Varane
reading
and the
this-
manager? One second. You don't think there's an issue with Varane and the manager? You don't think there's an issue with his training methods? And these are the two main
I
things we're talking
said-
about today.
I
If
think
people would listen to
the-
you and they don't know anything about United, they would probably think we're on top of the league right now. We have
Wait,
most of
I
our
think
players.
That's
Yeah,
not. That's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
That's not. I'm sorry, but that's not how I base my analysis. I don't base my analysis off if Manchester United are in good or bad form. I base it off what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is a manager wants to play a certain way, and the overall thing is he doesn't have the players to play that way. It's that simple. Whether you rate Varane or not, like Varane doesn't suit Ten Hag's style of play. So maybe there's an issue from that, but I don't know.
Right,
I don't know.
Does Mason Mount?
Right.
Neither
But why
does
does?
Anthony.
And Maguire does.
Right,
And
right. Let me
Lindelof
tell you
too.
what I see. I see a manager that is very good at creating problems. Yeah, and Brian won't know this. Yeah, you won't know this.
Danny, stop it, bro.
Okay,
I agree with Danny. You know what? I don't usually agree
Okay.
with Danny on a lot of things. I agree on this one.
You're saying
The guy
stop
creates
it,
his
yeah?
own problems.
Like you need to remember,
Facts.
this is the person. When the media told Brian, and Brian believed it a year ago in November, ironically, a year ago today, when they lied to you and told you Sancho was injured, and I told everybody the club was lying, it's fans like Brian, why are you making stuff up? Why are you creating a big injury?
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
I got cooked for it, Saeed. Cooked. And I said,
Oh,
wait
Danny,
to
they said
see.
Varane was injured as well,
And I
remember,
said-
2 weeks ago.
I said,
When he's not being
wait to
selected.
see what happens. And then 2 weeks later, before the World Cup, because Anthony and Ronaldo were taking a little break before the World Cup, oh, Sancho's ill. Lies. What do we find out? He spent 3 months out. A lot of us have known he's had a problem with Sancho since last year. It was always going to end badly. But Brian will tell me, you're just overanalyzing.
Okay, wait, let's talk about the Sancho situation. Because we're jumping from left to right. So
No.
let's focus on
Brian,
the,
Brian,
let's
no,
focus.
no,
let's-
Brian, I'm
let's-
not jumping. I'm pulling on a thread of you're talking to somebody who's been identifying problems this manager has been creating for himself since day one.
How is Sancho a problem he created for himself when Sancho has not been a player at Manchester United that's ever performed? He's coming to a situation that Sancho has never performed at a high level at Manchester United.
And his boy Anthony has.
Anthony has done more than Sancho at Manchester United.
No,
Whether
he
you want to agree with it or
hasn't.
not.
No,
Yes,
he
he has.
hasn't,
Yes,
No,
he literally has.
hasn't.
He has.
Sancho's the-
You're comparing
Sancho's the
shit
last
and
attack-
you're
No,
comparing
Sancho
shit
is
and
the last-
trash.
Brian,
Anthony
that
has
is
done more.
absolutely ridiculous. Sancho is literally the last attacker to score at Old Trafford in the Premier League, and he's not played for 6 months.
Usman, please
7
not
months,
use
bro.
that. Not use
That's
that.
No, I am going to use that.
That is the most
Anthony's done absolutely
ridiculous
nothing.
stats.
Anthony's played about. This is how I know Brian's never played football in his life. I'm just going to say how it is.
I actually
He's never
have,
played
but
football.
okay.
He
I actually
clearly
have, but
hasn't,
okay.
Because
I
anyone
actually
that's
have,
played
but okay.
football, 1 second, anyone that's played football knows you can't get rhythm as a player if you play 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, you miss a game here, you miss a game there, then another 20. Bro, you can't get rhythm as a player. When has Sancho, compared to Anthony, had 10 games in a row where he's dropped a stinker week in, week out, and he's still
At
playing?
the back
You
end
can't
of
go-
last season.
Bro, the
Sancho
back end of
played-
last season, when Sancho played right wing, everyone and their dog, even the journalists, were saying, is Sancho's best position on the right wing? Go back to the interviews, they were all asking Ten Hag, oh, maybe he should play right wing. The guy was one of our best players. In
What
that
did Sancho
period, but
say
he
he-
did-
Yo, look, we're
they were
deviating too
earning
much.
to play.
Oh
Look,
my
Usman,
god.
we're deviating too much. I'm talking about the manager
It's just
creating problems
ridiculous.
for himself.
It's
You're
just
in a
making things
situation
up.
where, for whatever reason, and a lot of us called this a year ago, you just don't like Sancho. For whatever reason, he don't like Sancho. Like Sancho can't be late, but Anthony can go out on New Year's Eve, crash his car, and he's back in the squad. It's okay for him.
Exactly.
But God forbid Sancho be late, and Brighton will say, no, that's not fair. You can't call out for Ten Hag for treating two people doing something wrong and treating them differently.
Was Rashford
No,
not punished
don't
for
call
being
them out.
late? For being
Don't
30
call
minutes
them out.
late?
Don't call him out. Let's not do that. Yeah. Ten
Oh,
Hag creates problem.
oh my
You've got a
God.
situation where you lack creativity and you let a personal vendetta with a player eliminate
You
you
don't know
from that situation.
You are speculating.
No, Brian. I'm telling you personally, I know this. That's
Where
why
are your journalist credentials? Where are your journalist credentials?
need to
You
be
don't know
journalist,
that.
Brian.
You do not know that.
But my journalist for credentials on my Twitter account, where I told people a year ago the club were lying
Oh
about
my
his injury.
God.
Wait. When someone tells you the club is lying, you're going to find out a week from now when it happens. What does that tell you? They lied.
You made an assumption and maybe you were right. Doesn't mean that you know.
Brian, he was never ill. And by the way, he was never in the Netherlands either. Don't even get me started on that
Right.
situation.
Mhm.
Don't even
Oh
get
my
me started on
God.
that.
Oh my days.
And let's get back to
Wait,
Varane.
if he wasn't in the Netherlands, where was he?
Mo, let's get back to Varane. Yeah, this is the thing. You will always go. You wanted a right centre back. You keep talking about. I don't like these weird angles that I have with these guys on this side. It's like, well, you've got Lindelof, you've got Maguire, you've got Varane. Then you were going to sell them and get a right centre back in Pablo Sibo anyway. So you were going to run into this problem with Varane regardless. And there's a basic conversation I've seen every retired player talk about, in football. When they're 30 and their body is failing them, they have a conversation with the coach. You're going to be on reduced minutes. There's only ever a problem when that conversation doesn't happen. That's when the players kick off because their expectations are here and they weren't brought down a little to say, you know what, you're not going to play. And before anyone rebuttals and says, but he's injury prone, he ain't been injured the last 4 or 5 matches, has he?
Apparently, he's been ill.
He's not played the last 4 or 5 matches.
They used the ill thing again, and Brian was saying.
They said, remember when they said he was ill, Danny? And then now we found out, oh wait, he actually was tactical. So 1 week he was ill, the next week he was tactical, he's been dropped. So make your mind up, please.
Exactly.
So if it was tactical, say it with your chest in it. Why are you being sly for? Like, for me personally, the Varane situation, I don't care what you say, Brian, but regarding this, it's an absolute disgrace from Ten Hag. Listen, the way you build a team, right? You don't get rid of your main players first. Why are we doing things backwards? Regardless if he's injury prone or not, the guy is arguably our best centre back. In my personal opinion, he is. If he's fit, he should be playing. It's as simple as that. Maguire's had 4 good games, fair enough. Maybe he just wanted to start. He's on form, whatever. But that doesn't mean Varane doesn't play. I swear to God, if Lindelof is starting with Maguire over Varane, it's an absolute joke. The fact that he started Johnny Evans over Rafa Varane.
You know that, Usman. What do you?
I know he will start. The thing is, our fans will then go around this cycle of, Lindelof and Maguire better than Martinez. Watch the tweets. Lindelof and Maguire better than Martinez and Varane. It'll happen. Give it a couple of days. And then once we play against anyone decent, we'll get our absolute pants pulled down once again. And we'll be back to the same cycle. Lindelof and Maguire are not good enough for Man United. Do you guys ever learn from your mistakes and your lessons? Like, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same. That's what I was trying to say. But Varane, when he came in, it was a problem. When he got hurt, it was a problem. When he's on the field, it's a problem.
Listen, I think Varane was a problem, but we needed to fix that problem with the transfer market because there's younger center backs out there that can fit this system that are much more fit. Yes, I get the experience and all that, but never did I think
mid-season. Do it in January.
Exactly,
January
but that's
like summer 2024. That's fine. Not now.
Exactly, but that's my point. My point was I thought because I saw this as an issue that we should have solved in the summer. Because there's a few center backs that we could have bought that would have been fit enough to play and can give us that style that we want. I didn't think though that let's go mid-season, address Varane as an issue because of partnership issues, and then let's go back to what we used to do 3 years ago, which is playing Lindelof and Maguire.
We're screwed, bro.
I wanted to fix it with the transfer market, not the bench.
The only thing I can think
on opposite sides.
The only reason why I can think he didn't go for a left-sided centre back because in his mind he probably thought, okay, I have Martinez, and I have Shaw.
That's fair.
I have Luke Shaw that can play left-sided centre back. So in his mind, it's like I don't rate Maguire, I don't rate Lindelof like that, and Varane is not. He's getting older.
He rates Maguire.
But this is as a result of injuries. This is what happens. Like the planning of Manchester United is poor.
He decided he rates Maguire again.
He wanted to bring in someone to replace Maguire.
No, I heard that, but he rates Maguire now. Now he rates him, and he's proud of him.
Exactly.
Danny, in his defense, he always rated Maguire.
Oh, true.
No, he didn't.
No, no,
he
yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
bro.
I don't know what rates. I don't know what rates mean. The managers don't act like this, or
He just said
he's
he's not in
choosing
form.
who's in form. Is as simple as
Oh,
that.
let me tell you.
That's
Let me tell you,
fine.
Brian.
He
So,
shouldn't do that though. He shouldn't
one
do that though.
second.
I don't think he
No,
should
hold
do that,
on.
man.
No,
I think he
Brian,
should do
that's
that.
fair.
Second,
You know what
Saeed.
it is? That's fair. Maguire's
But is
in
it fair
form.
though?
Fine.
No, it is
But one
Saeed
second,
is
guys. The
pick your players on
revisionism right
form.
now.
But Brian,
Guys,
No,
one
no,
second.
no, no, no.
One second.
Wait,
One second.
no,
One second.
Saeed,
The
hold on. When
revisionism
Brian
is so
referenced-
crazy right now, Danny. One second, Danny. We're
Thank
not
you,
going to say
Safi.
all of a sudden that he rates him over Varane. When last season he had no center backs and he was playing Luke Shaw left center back instead of
Thank
playing
you.
Maguire.
Thank you.
Are we really
Thank
forgetting
you.
that happened last season?
Exactly.
He was putting a left
What is
back.
this conversation?
Bro,
Because he was
Maguire
not
was
in
our
form.
he was our fourth choice center back.
He
last
was our
season.
fifth choice, brother.
Yeah.
The
So
strong
why
defender.
Why did Maguire come in? Why did Maguire come in the first
No,
place?
what
What
if-
led
I
to
don't
Maguire
understand-
starting?
I don't understand one thing, right? If you're not playing,
Because he was
well,
injured.
not-
He was injured.
not
He was
No,
playing
he
injured.
well,
weren't injured. He was on the bench. He weren't injured. He was on the bench against.
So there you
That's
go.
where this started. He
But that's
weren't
not
He
injured.
dropped him
That's
for
what I'm
tactical
saying.
reasons.
That's not where it started. The whole Maguire thing is not where it started with him playing. He played Evans over
No, I'm talking about
Varane.
Varane, Maguire, right centre back issue. What was the report that came out today and a week before? They've just been recycling the news, by the way, back and forth. Man City game. Maguire starts. Varane's on the bench. Then the video came out after the game of him awkwardly explaining why Varane didn't start. Yeah, and
You
the reason
say
why
tactics.
I brought it
Exactly.
up is because now it's another player. You can deny all you want, Brian. They have fallen out, and you can add it to the list.
Facts.
And this
Tell him,
manager
Danny. Tell him.
doesn't
Tell
have
him.
the cachet, the stability, or a football club he can trust, yeah, to get rid of someone every time you fall out with them. It's called management. You keep
Thank you.
players on side until the right time before you can move them on. And between now and January, when you can replace him, you've got 12 football matches to win.
So you're saying lose
12.
games. You're saying lose
No,
games.
I-
he's not
can I,
saying
I'm
that.
not saying lose
I'm just
games.
trying to pick
No,
your
no,
brain.
They keep
One
man
second.
happy until you can actually
saying
chip him
lose games.
out.
I'm saying manage the squad better. Overall.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not good
Yo,
enough.
so Danny, you're managing human emotions
Confused
here.
with his logic.
Okay.
I'm confused with
One
his logic.
second, Brian. Before you go, big up to
You
Freddie.
missed
He's a
the
member of
first
the
half
channel.
of the show. Oh my, it ties into a whole narrative.
What?
Bro. I promise.
What Freddie says there, big up Freddie being a member of 7 months says, why do you guys overanalyze stuff? Ten Hag can't play style due to the deadwood and injuries. Simple. Ownership is also a big issue.
Oh my
I think for me,
bro.
No, I think for me the ownership is a big issue, but I think also there's players out there that he's brought in that he still can't implement in the team, and we can't then say it's down to injuries when he's had players there available and he's not used them. So that's
So
why I
he
disagree
brought
with you.
Amrabat, Mount, and benched them both, bro. Why did you sign him?
Like,
Yeah.
as it stands
And
right
Anthony,
now,
bro, Anthony's
And
looked at the
Anthony.
Deadwood and he
Like-
bought him. Like, can we not stop? Can we stop acting like he
Yeah,
didn't
but he got
bring
dropped
in
the
honestly,
last two
ridiculous.
games. Didn't he get dropped the last two games?
It doesn't.
Man's got
Okay,
what
so
you wanted.
okay, so thank you. You just fed into what this comment says.
No,
He
no,
said he
Seth,
can't
you're
play.
just-
He said, one second. Let me
Hold
explain
on.
to you.
Okay,
Let me
go
explain to you and then respond.
Go
He's
ahead.
saying here he can't play a certain way because of injuries and Deadwood. Some of this Deadwood he brought in within these
Thank
2
you.
years.
bench
So
them.
it's not we're talking about Deadwood that's been here
Spent
before
so
him.
much.
If everyone he signed was banging, I'd be like, you know what, bro, this guy's on point. Everyone he signed is actually playing well. We got to get rid of more Deadwood for him to get his style of play. Anthony's Deadwood because of him. Mount is being benched before he got injured because of him. And who else did you just say?
Amrabat.
Amrabat
Amrabat.
chased him for how many months?
He chased him all summer, and now he doesn't even trust to play him in the midfield. He'd rather play McTominay as a
He
shadow
played McTominay
striker
in the
in the
six of
midfield.
Amrabat, bro, and he chased him for flipping 3
Bro,
months. 2
we
weeks.
played McTominay
Stop
in
the
the
car.
6 and the 10 against City, the biggest game of our season. We moved them from 10 to 6 within
Did
90
you see Big
minutes.
Ange, by the way?
but didn't
Did you
use
see
these
did you see his
players.
comments?
Just-
Did you see his
just do it,
comments, by
mate.
the way, today? Big Ange.
And
Just do it.
Saeed,
I haven't, no.
Saeed, and this is my issue with this coach, right? Yeah, and I told you the first time we spoke about him, he's a madman. I didn't realize he was this mad. Side. I knew he was crazy. Ten Hag. I didn't know he was this crazy, right? Maguire and Varane are your best centre backs available right now. Any other manager would just play them together and figure out the rest around them.
Exactly.
Simple. Maguire played his whole career as a left-sided centre back. Your narrative about I don't like the angles of a right is extra. It's gonna hurt you. It's a battle you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight this Varane battle. You've got injuries.
Stop
It's crazy
saying,
too many
man.
fires, Danny, man. Way too many
You've got
fires, man.
injuries.
Too many, yeah. Too
Hold
many
on.
battles.
Luke Shaw's
No
coming
need.
back. Luke Shaw's coming back. Just play your best 2 centre backs. Simple as that. It's very
And
simple.
also, just to add to that, Omar, because you said you didn't understand the point. The point is very simple. If he wants to get rid of Varane, right, that's fine. I'm not going to sit and say, oh, X, Y, and Z, but that's his prerogative. Like, he can decide he wants to keep. But just sort it out in January or summer, which is what myself, Staffy, and Danny said. Why are you doing it mid-season? Now, every game that Varane doesn't play, we're going to have another media frenzy. How many media frenzies do we need?
It's
like
so many fires to put out, Usman.
it's media
So
frenzy
many
after media. I actually know the Manchester United communications director. Right? I met him recently. Like, just I don't know him, but I met him recently. I spoke to him. I said, "How are you getting on?" The guy was stressing. He was like, "Bro, like I put one fire out, and there's another thing going on with the club." I mean, it's relentless, bro, and you can't build any culture when you constantly got unrest within the dressing room. So for me, as a manager, you have to ensure that you keep everyone on side. As Danny said, you've got to make sure everyone's happy, everyone's buying into it. Yes, okay, he doesn't want Varane, that's fine. But why is he doing it in November 1st when we've got X amount of games until January where we can even have an opportunity of getting rid of him? We've now got another player that's not happy. Why? Deal with it properly. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think he does not want him. I just don't think Varane is playing well. That's what it comes down to. That's what
Lindelof's not playing well.
But it wasn't Lindelof.
Where you getting that from there, Omar? Where you getting the plot playing well from? Where you getting that from?
He's had one poor game, his Champions League game that he came on and he threw the game for us, or whatever game that was.
Yeah, that was one. But my thing is,
he's played well.
I think what it comes down to, is what Danny said before. Maguire was 5th choice. Evans is a free transfer. Varane was one of your best defenders last season. This idea that we're playing better with for Evans and Maguire, I think there's a ceiling point. And when it gets to that ceiling point, everyone's going to be here lambasting Maguire and Evans. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. He knows, Varane, I am better than these two. He feels disrespected by Erik ten Hag. And he's thinking, hold on a minute. You're then putting me on when the chips are down and then you're down 10 men. He's pissed off. He wants to be starting these games. And ultimately, there is a drift there. And I feel like for me, Ten Hag has created a problem that should not have been there. We're not playing this expansive football that everyone keeps talking about. We're not playing that from the back anyway. We're not playing any sort of football. For me, in my eyes, my own opinion, Brian, we're not seeing a style of play that doesn't allow Varane to be, but he doesn't fit the style. I don't see that. This is your best clocks defender. You play him. I'm not saying it's down. I don't want player power to exist. But what I'm trying to say is later on, when everyone starts criticizing Maguire and Evans, I'm not going to be here saying, you know what, it's their fault. It's the manager's fault for playing them. That's what it comes down to.
One second.
Funny. I feel like there's no solution with y'all. Like, there's no solution. Like,
there is. Let me just address. I just want to address a point really quickly. I do not rate Maguire.
At least you know I'm convinced that there's no solution. No matter what,
there's a solution. Let Brian land.
Sorry, I just want to address a point. I don't rate Maguire. I do not rate Evans. I don't rate any of the centre backs. There's really the only centre back I think Manchester United have that is actually really good, that suits what Ten Hag maybe wants to do, is Martinez. I don't rate the centre backs. There's a lot of speculation. I don't like talking about things that I do not know as a fact. Danny, maybe you know more stuff than I do. I don't know. I can't come out here and say he's not because they're fault. I don't know that. There's a lot of media stuff. Even the Athletic came out last week and were like, they haven't fallen out. Everything is fine. We don't know. So I'm not going to talk about stuff I do not know. That's all I'm going to say when it comes to Varane. As for the centre back pairing, I think things are going to. Manchester United, we're not talking about world class centre backs here. Like, it's going to fall apart because they are not good enough. Evans was an emergency signing and we wanted to sell Maguire. So why would anyone believe that centre-back partnership is going to last and stay strong? It's not. Exactly. With Manchester United, the current situation they are in is emergency. The club is literally in a state where it needs help. It needs new players. It needs recruitment. So you are basically taking a pot of trash and choosing out of it, and you're bashing the manager for why is this particular piece of trash not working. 90% of the players we have right now should not be Manchester United players. They shouldn't be. So it's kind of pointless to me.
Is that facts or are you speculating?
Hold on,
Hey!
No, it's I mean, the facts are there. The facts are there to see. The facts are there to see.
Right. Between now and January, you can't sign anybody. Right? So you need a happy camp to get results. Just the basics of football, right? We haven't seen, you talked about the football he wants to play. We ain't seen it. We ain't seen it all season. We're saying doing this, and again, he said he's competing. He said it again today. He's competing with Maguire. Setting that little competition is not going to help you. You literally said there's a ceiling to Maguire and Evans. So why create a problem with Varane with that limited ceiling? Don't make any sense, bro. It doesn't.
I don't think either Varane or Evans or Maguire are going to be Manchester United if things are actually running well past a year. So none of them are even going to be here if things are actually done properly. All three of them should be
the club's going to get rid of 5 centre backs.
But getting into a situation with Varane for that mid ceiling is not a good strategy. It's a bad strategy.
But this is what you're saying. We don't know that.
I've seen
it. You're creating an argument.
You know that we're going to sell them in a year. You just said
exactly. You just said something that's a complete cop out.
He's saying he's creating a situation with Varane. What situation?
But how do you know we're going to sell players then? Like you're speculating that.
If things are done properly, those things
when have things been done properly at Manchester United?
I'm hoping Ineos actually have a plan. That's a new situation that Manchester United have not been in the last 10 to 15 years.
But that plan can't help Ten Hag for the next 12 matches. You've got football matches to win. That plan can't help.
That's literally what he's trying to do.
And this manager's narrative about angles from the left-sided centre back, we ain't seeing those angles. We're not playing out from the back.
No matter who's playing, there is no system at the moment. So just play your best players.
So
Danny, it's not just about angles though. It's not just about angles. When you press Varane, he fidgets. He makes a lot of mistakes.
Man.
No. Let's be honest. I'm not talking about the quality of the player.
You're acting like Maguire and Lindelof are press resistant. If they were, then you have a point.
They aren't either.
I think what he means is the way Varane plays out from the back is not the most comfortable. I get it. I understand that.
Right, but no matter who he's played this season, no one plays out from the back.
Thank you.
Because they're all shit.
Exactly. So play your best centre back.
The one that can at least defend.
So at least play the one that can defend. That would be nice.
Put the one that can defend. Listen, right now we're playing it away.
The old shit I played out from the back.
Listen, right
Pick
now
the one that can defend. Surely.
Usman, right now we have no system, especially in the build-up.
God.
Which is why, let's be honest, if you think we're playing a system and that system involves McTominay playing as a 10, then you probably have no idea what you're talking about. Right now, especially in the last 2 games,
it's so simple. If the last 10 minutes in the game and you need to hold on, would you be more comfortable with Maguire at the back or Varane? Honest to God, if anyone says Maguire is actually deluded. The guy, it causes chaos. I know he's playing well for 4 games, but let's stop the cap. Why are Man United fans so flip-flopping? 4 games does not change 3 years of Maguire being under par. Fair play, I'll give him his flowers. He's done well in the last couple of games and you know what, he deserves his start. But let's stop the cap. Varane is the best centre-back who's available currently by an absolute mile. It's not even close. It's not even close. Don't even start me on Lindelof. That guy is an absolute joke, man. The amount of times he's got bullied in United shirt. Then he has his little flurry of games where he's absolutely solid. And even I fall for the bullshit. I'm tweeting out. You can probably dig up my tweets.
Doesn't even play at left centre-back well when he plays
it. Just the same shit, bro. Varane has to start.
That's why the whole narrative is just why even go there?
Johnny Evans as well, Danny. Like, come on, man. He's 30.
And Omar said there's no solution. There is a solution. Play Harry Maguire in the position that he made his career at left centre.
Play Varane. Simple.
And play Varane at right centre back. That's the
exactly
solution.
End of conversation.
That was the partnership originally, right?
Yeah, it was original, but obviously he fought
it didn't work really well.
And people hated it.
People hated it.
That's what I'm saying. There's no solution. He's saying, hold up. I'm sorry. He said that's the solution. That was the first solution. It did not work. It was hated, and this is not it.
Because Martinez is meant to be there, but obviously he's injured, isn't it? So it's unfortunate. Yeah. But even if you want a solution,
if Martinez comes back, we sit down Maguire. That's a question for you.
Bro, did you know last season Varane and Martinez together was solid? I don't care what stats say.
No,
they were very good.
He weren't even playing Maguire as a left centre back last season because he did the narrative. The difference was Luke Shaw was fit, so he got to play Luke Shaw. Then Varane got injured, and he played Lindelof there, and they ended the season well together. But Lindelof's fallen off a cliff. You've got Johnny Evans, who's a bum. I don't care what no one tells me. The guy's 35, injury prone. This was awkward as any centre back you'll ever see in your life. Lindelof's out of form.
You're being harsh.
Just play. I'm being harsh, but just play. Just. You know what it is with Ten Hag? So we were talking about this last time I spoke to you, Saeed, right? He does things he doesn't have to do, right?
Causing his own issues. That's the problem. For no reason.
I'll give you an example. He goes to the diamond against Brighton. Everyone understands that formation. You don't play someone like Eriksen left central midfield in a system that doesn't have wingers and needs a lot of coverage. And what
killed Eriksen in that game completely.
And what does he do? He plays Eriksen.
Killed him.
For that match, that Brighton game, I tore him apart tactically. That match was very bad, Ten Hag. That was a big error.
So that's what I mean about him doing things that are unconventional that he doesn't have to do. Don't do unconventional things. Stick to the basics. Playing Lindelof at left back, right?
Oh my God. Who plays left back.
Exactly.
People want to
and Lindelof plays right back.
They want to talk about angles in the left center back when we put an awkward center back in left back. That is the worst angle to play him. And people want to sit here and justify
absolutely baffling.
Because we can't have Maguire in left center back, as if the other two that play there are left-footed. Everyone we have, bar Martinez, is a right center. Right.
Delo's actually decent at left back as well. Like he played against Arsenal. He did a decent job against Saka. Like.
You know what's crazy?
Brian, so let me hit the point. Yeah, there's a pattern of the manager doing unconventional things. McTominay is a 10 when you've got Mount on the bench, unconventional. Lindelof is a left back when you can play Dalot there, unconventional. And this fixation, all my other right-footed players can play left centre back, but Maguire can't, even though he made his career there, unconventional and unnecessary. That's all we're saying, Brian. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. I don't like I said, I don't completely disagree with you guys, but it's not the thing with Ten Hag is if you take everything he says in the press conference as gospel and don't actually try and analyze it a little bit deeper, you're going to be confused with certain things. So it's not just about angles, it's the way the player receives the ball, the way they move, the way they turn. Maguire's turning range is terrible. That's part of the reason why, like, it is terrible. He turns like a truck.
No, it is, I agree.
Like, so with like some players are not very good. Like that's why he plays him on the right side. He also plays him on the right side so he can hit those diagonal through balls, which sometimes work to the left winger on the left.
He hit those balls on the left. He did it from his best 2 seasons were under Oli playing as
left centre back.
Listen, and by the way, those 2 seasons, Maguire used to drive with the ball. Yeah, used to drive with the football. And I tell you what, that football is better than what I've seen this season. That's why I'm not having this excuse about Maguire's rotating fucking circumference. I'm not interested in all
Why
that.
can't he play Varane next to him then? If both of them are top center backs, like he said, but he really cares about the angle so much when it comes to Maguire, why can't he play Varane as a left center back? Because you cannot convince me that Lindelof as a left center back gives us anything more than Varane.
He's not good there.
Or progresses the ball.
I don't think he is, but is Lindelof good there?
Nah, I think Lindelof's.
No, Lindelof has too many defensive liabilities to play that position.
So if both of them are shit in that position, why don't you play the best center back?
But Staffy, Maguire is better than Lindelof at left centre back, and he won't play Maguire there, but he plays Lindelof.
There you go. Was the same
thing. These comments today.
I want to move on from this arc because I want to touch on the attack as well. Shams is saying Arteta did it with Gabriel by benching for 3 games at the start of the season, but soon realised it wasn't working. He swallowed his pride. Ten Hag is.
He didn't actually swallow his pride. Actually, Brighton got injured, so that's not really my history. Thank you.
I want to talk about the attack here.
But fair point.
The attack's an issue. You know what I mean? I start off with you, Omar. What do we do with the attack, man? Who would you want in attack? Martial,
man.
Haaland 50-50. You know, your boy Martial. You know what I mean? What are you saying? Because we have to do something.
You see, I don't like regressing. I do not regret. I like moving forward. I do not. I'm not seeing no Anthony Martial in the number 9. Like it's been done for me. Is put him on the wing if you have to, but that ship has sailed. You know, that ship has sailed for me. Stick like how everybody wants. Choose your best player in that position, right? If he's your best player, that person has to play. Obviously, Højlund is the striker. He's not. He has not.
Is he fit? Is Højlund fit? Sorry, I don't actually know.
Injured almost.
50-50.
That's what I was.
Go.
Oh, so that means he'll start based on Ten Hag's record. So that's fine.
I said the same thing, Usman. I was like, yo, if he's
but
not,
he'll be injured soon, anyways, Danny. So
Usman, I said this.
Let me ask
I looked at it, bro.
Let me
I
ask you
said,
a question.
is Rashford hurt? Did Rashford get hurt doing England?
No,
Or
They're
no?
both playing, don't worry. If the doubts to play.
Omar, would you rather see Rashford?
This is why because he was about to say, God knew he was about to say something
Would
great.
you rather see
God,
Rashford, Martial?
Listen, I'm
Say
just
that
saying,
again,
if
Danny. Say that
Hoyland,
again. Say
if
that
Hoyland
again.
plays
Let me say that again.
yeah, land
Yeah,
again because you lagged.
Oh, sorry. Would you rather see Rashford, Martial, Anthony, or Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony? Palestri's injured. So
Anthony's not playing. I don't think he's playing, to be honest with you.
he has to.
Why?
Bruno right wing.
Why does he have? Why does he have?
Right.
We don't have anyone, bro.
We can't play Bruno right wing because we haven't got centre mid, Danny. We ain't got centre mid to cover
They
him.
have like 3 center mids available.
Yeah.
We literally
What,
got
you
no
wanna
one
see
to
Rashford
cover
right
him.
Then
You want to see Rashford right
I
wing?
don't want to see Rashford right wing again. I'm not mad at it.
Why? It was good last game.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see Anthony right wing though. I'd rather play Rashford up top, and if Hoyland is 50-50, then I'll go with the Hoyland again. But let's play safe. Okay, bring the boy back. Throw Martial in the 9 and play Garnacho on the left. But he cannot start Anthony tomorrow, especially after proving a point by dropping him for 2 games, and all of a sudden because we need you, there's other options there that you could use. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think playing Anthony on the right would be the best decision that he could probably make tomorrow. So I'll be more fine with the addition of Martial to play in just to fill in that gap. But everybody, and he has to also know that if you play Anthony tomorrow, what's gonna happen? You're gonna have us here come back again next Friday on Saeed channel. Oh, he has his favorites, and now it's back to we have his favorites. Oh, he has this. Why this person doesn't play? Oh, you get what I'm saying? So you just have to just stick it. I don't know. I would love to see Palestri. I would love to
He's
see.
injured.
No, you wouldn't.
But Palestri's hurt, supposedly, according to you.
Yeah, he's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. He's out. He's
He's
out.
hurt, yeah.
You
So
guys have to stop questioning my thoughts.
Trust me, I do like Palestri.
No,
just,
you don't.
it's
I've
sad
got-
No, man, too late now. It's too late.
United fan
It's
base.
too late. It's too late, bro. Don't jump on that bandwagon now. When he starts popping off, don't come back to me.
It's not that. It's just I personally don't think he's the Lord and Savior.
No, I'm
Especially-
joking. I don't think he's ready yet, but I do
same
like
thing
him.
with Diallo. Same thing with Ahmed. When Ahmed gets Saeed, the icon, you better protect it, brother. You better protect the icon.
I don't know what. Again, like I said, he's another one that you don't want to rush too soon as well, man. We're talking about injuries as well. You don't want to rush him too soon. That's a problem, man. I think for me, yeah, the thing with the attack is there's no fluidity. I think there's no rhythm. I think they don't trust each other. I think there's no element of they know each other's characteristics. I think he will go with Rashford. I think he'll go with Martial for the middle, and then he'll go with Garnacho on the left. Again, Garnacho in this kind of game, do you want to throw him out there, knowing that he's got a game in midweek as well? So this is very,
also,
very,
Saeed,
what I mean?
I've got a question.
I'm actually going to. Yeah,
This is
Danny,
an
I,
opportunity for other players to step up. Bro. There's a great opportunity for other players to step up.
I'm going to cause a bit of
I've
trouble.
been watching
Yeah.
the training, and I've seen a lot of involvement with Donny van der Beek, for example.
We
Right?
spoke
Not
about
saying-
training.
You said what?
I want to ask Saeed a question. You mentioned training as well, which is good. If this was under Ollie, you'd be talking about Carrick and McKenna. Why don't I see you talking about Benny McCarthy, man? This lack of
Benny McCarthy. I
chemistry in
can't
the
lie,
front
man.
line.
I'll be honest. I gave him a lot of praise last year, but this year I don't know what Benny McCarthy's doing. I don't even see him anymore. They're not even like showing him around in training.
They
Last
showed
year,
him
shaking man's hands.
They showed him a couple times.
yeah, they showed him a couple of times, but I don't know, man. Again, you got to remember, Rashford's a player that's hit and miss. There's not goals in this team, though. That's a problem. Like Anthony hasn't been prolific at Ajax. He's not prolific here. Garnacho, okay, he's more impactful off the bench. We don't have really a prolific team. Hoyland's a guy who's coming in, he's young. I mean, this is a problem. Like we don't even create enough chances for me. Like we create 1 or 2, maybe 3 at best, but we don't create enough. The volume of chances is not enough, and that's a problem as well. They need to feel. Sometimes I get it, you can miss a lot of chances, but imagine you're going to get another one. Like this is another one thing that this United team does, that we don't create enough for us to kind of be like, okay, fair enough, we've had a lot today. And that's another thing that down to the system, what are we doing? Are we creating enough? Against Luton Town, we had 3 maybe big chances. The rest of them were kind of outside the box here and there. And this is what I want to have to be doing more and more.
About he doesn't want to see Anthony, but you saw Anthony missing chances last season. You don't even see anyone in the right wing getting chances this season. You never
Bro.
seen it.
That chance Anthony created for Rashford when he came off the bench
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Should
yeah.
have scored that. Should have scored that.
Should have
Yeah,
sold
oh-
that, you know.
But
Oh,
Saeed,
also
we've,
just-
we've regressed in. Yeah, we've regressed. Just.
That's what I said.
It's a little
Yeah,
difficult to choose a team with this Manchester United team right now because everybody's playing terribly. Like the whole form and mentality of the camp is down. So you're almost struggling to choose a front three that would actually even work on paper, let alone on the pitch.
I think
But Luke Shaw's
Anthony should
back.
start this
Luke
game.
Shaw's back. That's a good thing, isn't it? Apparently.
I would probably go Rashford on the right, Garnacho, and Højlund or Martial, depending on who's fit.
What's wrong, Omar? You've been
Yeah.
so positive before, man. What's going on?
See how Omar holds his space every time we mention Luke Shaw, bro.
I just, bro, this is the problem with this fan base. We just make
What is the
we make okay and decent good. Yeah, Luke Shaw is bad. Oh, let's go get Van de Beek from the reserves. Oh, Kobe Mano. We need to stop that, bro. We need to stop that. Luke Shaw's back. We're still gonna sit here in front of the screen tomorrow. Oh, come here again, start cursing out, fuming, smoke coming out. Usman's gonna come wine Palestrian start.
Let me just tell you guys, when Omar speaks about Luke Shaw, just know that he rates Regulon over him. So
Lord,
I don't take him too
See,
serious.
this is absolute.
Oh, my
That's
man.
Don't take Omar
blasphemous.
too serious.
That's blasphemous talk. That's blasphemous talk.
Listen, I'm gonna say something that I didn't expect to say, but last season when we played Everton away, Anthony scored and Martial set him up. And that's
Yeah.
Old Trafford.
Ronaldo
Obviously
scored as
Martial.
well. Ronaldo scored as well. Remember Ronaldo?
Yeah, I
He
mean
scored.
Ronaldo's that guy, innit?
Yeah,
But and then obviously in the Martial fashion, he went off injured after that assist. But for me personally, we've actually not seen that front three since that day. I don't think. And I actually would like. I would actually like to see Martial start with Anthony on the right wing because I actually think they played well together. Obviously, like we've spoken about the lack of fluidity. The one thing that we could probably all agree on, whether we rate them or not, is Martial and Rashford actually have fantastic chemistry together. And obviously, they played with each other for a long period of time, obviously they understand each other's game. And for me, I just put Rashford on the left and put him obviously. But if Shaw's fit, I think Rashford for me.
Someone is bugging crazy.
I think it's done.
I think it's Danny. Danny, go on mute. Is it gone now? Is it gone?
Yeah.
So what I would actually do is I'd get Anthony to hold the width like he normally does. I'd get Anthony to hold the width like he normally does, and I'd have obviously Martial up top, and I'd have Rashford playing left forward, very close to Martial, like within the vicinity, like he's a second striker basically, and have them playing together, and obviously Luke Shaw overlapping because obviously give us a width on that side. That's what I would personally do. I don't think Everton are that good of a team. Obviously, they've started to pick up form recently, and Don McCummon is obviously going to cause a problem. But let's keep it real. They're nothing special. So for me, I like to see Rashford closer and let Anthony hold the width and obviously see how he fare. But I don't want to see Garnacho starting this game. It's a tight pitch. He's not going to have much space in behind. In general, he's going to get bullied physically. We know Everton are going to be a physical team under Dyche as well. And I just don't think this is a good game for Garnacho at all, to be honest. Unless obviously the game is stressed.
They'll rough him up crazy.
Game.
They're gonna rough him up.
He's going to be a bullied all game for me. And like I said, it's
who's their right back again? Who's the Everton's right back again?
Is it? I don't know. I'm not off the top of my head.
It could be Kenny or it could be Ashley Young. Ashley Young as well.
Does it Ashley Young left back?
You already know Ashley Young.
Left back.
Ashley Young would pocket
Garnacho.
100%.
Left back. They got
Mikalenko's on good form, to be fair. Scored like 2 and 2, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Decore goals. You got that Beto maybe.
It's a physical game, man.
It's a very physical team. It's a very physical team.
Yeah. It's not a game. It's not a game for Garnacho, man. I think it'd be a massive mistake to him.
Their back line is Mikalenko, Braithwaite, Tarkowski, and Ashley Young. That's 4 defenders that just.
I think for me, I'd go Marcel Rashford personally. I'll explain what I do, but obviously, for me, just get Rashford close to Martial. Tell him to keep it simple, and he doesn't need to try to take on too many players. Obviously, you won't do any of this, but that's what I would do if I was.
Just think we need to keep the ball. I just think we need to keep the ball. Like if we go away to Goodison and you start giving away the ball, it's gonna be
they're gonna leave us the ball. That's no option, anyways. They're gonna leave us the ball.
No, but if you give it away for their counter attacks, especially with Decore busting through from that midfield, nobody's catching him in our midfield. So long day.
I don't know. Scott, man. Scottish Zidane.
No, not man.
He wears
McTominay will
the
be
number on
playing.
his back.
He'll be playing
What
close to
guy?
the center forward, so I don't think he's gonna be. He's gonna be Amrabat and no.
I think we should
I
be
don't know.
direct tomorrow. The idea of trying to keep the ball, you don't have the personnel to try and keep the ball against them anyways. Let's be very honest. I think we're going to approach the game the same way we approached the last two games, and we're going to be very direct. And as crazy as this sounds, we're actually going to rely heavily on McTominay in the midfield tomorrow because he's going to have to match their energy. He's going to have to match their physicality. And I think a lot of our play is going to come from long balls, which is why the managers, I think, is persistent with the center back partnership that we have. Which is why I also think
Rashford out. Am I tripping? Sorry.
Am I cutting out?
I don't know. I think it's me, maybe.
A little bit,
yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
It might be me. Yeah. My mic has been bad. I gotta fix it. But yeah, I think the correct approach.
Safi, do you say Rashford's better than Mbappe? Yeah, someone clip that, man. Someone clip that up, man.
No, but you know what?
I cut out, but
it's actually, you know what? It's actually just coping with the physicality, man. I feel like for me, if you can cope with the physicality, you're halfway there, man. Because I feel like for me, if they start playing their game and we get caught in that crossfire, we don't start doing what we can do best, which is hit them in the transition. If we can't do that, then that's where it gets so. The atmosphere as well. They've been deducted 10 points. I spoke to an Everton fan today. Make sure you check out that preview, people. But he was saying like, you don't want to be coming to Everton on Sunday, man. They were confident. He was confident that, you know what, there's going to be a loud atmosphere. And we've got two back-to-back loud, probably three, Newcastle, Everton, and Galatasaray. We will see where this team... Sorry?
There's 3 L's.
It could be 3 L's, yeah. It's going to be it could be very, very, very tough conversation for Ten Hag going forward. A lot of people think I'm like this super Ten Hag, never criticize. I criticize Ten Hag a lot, funny enough, when he does bad things tactically. Because for me, that's the number one focus because there's too many external issues at Manchester United. So for me, if I watch this Everton game and he does stupid things tactically, I'll call him out. It's as simple as that. Because we are getting to a situation with Manchester United where if we have the right sporting people in place, Ten Hag will not even survive anyway. Like he's going to get sacked because someone like Ratcliffe is not going to wait around after spending 1.5 billion for him to get it right. A lot of people are hearing the whole PR. Oh, he's going to... No, you don't spend 1.5 billion to be lax. He's going to be on it from day one. So,
I hope so,
for
man.
me,
I hope so.
like, he's going to be, man.
Yeah.
Like, I criticize Ratcliffe or not, but like, if he's
I feel
spending
like
1.5 billion,
there, though. Is that not an assumption? It's speculation.
no, I think he's a very arrogant man. And one thing with arrogant billionaires, right, is they want to get stuff done. And Ratcliffe has shown with all his things he's owned, all his businesses, all his sporting entities and whatnot, he wants decisions made and made quickly. Like he doesn't mess about. So with Manchester United, we'll see. But I don't think he's not going to want fans to get on his back. That's the number one thing. So if he's in a situation where he has to make a decision, either criticism on him or Ten Hag is going to go. Like it's as simple as that. So he has to get results right now between now and January because if Ineos are put in a situation where Manchester United have lost 3 games on the bounce right now, and you have a game against Liverpool coming up at Anfield.
Yeah, he's getting sacked after that Liverpool game. Remember I said that.
Yeah.
No faith, huh?
Facts.
It's not about having faith, bro. Like it's like we're screwed, bro. They're actually
Sorry,
right out of faith.
Yeah. I just want to address some people said Trini Red Devil said I criticize him, but also make excuses for him because Manchester United is not a simple situation. You can't just put everything on the manager because you're going to end up being in a situation where you're going to see the same things repeat under a different manager.
That's what's been
and
happening.
then you're gonna look silly. So it's about trying to be consistent as possible. I'm not going to be right on everything I say, but like I gotta be as consistent as I can. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. Listen, listen. These are the kind of games where 4:30 kickoff, you go away. I'm not saying we need to not win in style, but I think during the circumstances, you know what I mean, we have to play. We have to get the win, man. I think it's going to be tough game, man. And this is where we're going to find out where this Man United team are. You know what I mean? I think this is the kind of ground where Sean Dyche as well, these players as well need to rise up as well. We need to score goals. We just need to put in a performance good enough that we can come away and say, you know what, we went to that ground and we actually caught 3 points there when not everybody doubted us, but everyone thought we would
Side, honest to God, I'm sorry, man, but I can just see you on your watch along already. In my head, I can picture you screaming right now on your watch. That's what I've got in my head.
Bro.
Don't think I'm doing. Sonny getting stupid Maguire defensive. What's he doing?
No, I can
It's
see
not
it, man.
good
I know
enough,
it- I know
man.
this
He's
team.
not
not
good
good
enough.
enough.
Tell you, man. 4 good games. I thought Maguire's
It's
good
not
enough.
good
Saf, what are
enough,
you doing,
man.
What are you doing?
4 good games.
Bro,
Sack the
Come
manager,
on,
I'm
man.
man.
telling you.
Come on, man. Come
I-
on now. Come
And
on.
Goodison Parker up. So, yeah, 7 points deduction now because
You're
I've
not
only
way,
got
good
yeah.
enough.
us.
You're not good enough.
They're
When
not
will
good
it
enough,
end,
man.
Saeed? When will it end?
When will it end, man? When will it end?
Uh,
You know, quick one, yeah. You know, Onana and Braithwaite. Are you looking at them two signings in the summer to take away from
Yes.
Everton? Are you liking them two, by the way? Onana and
And
Braithwaite.
I'm really big fan of Onana. And I was talking about him probably before a lot of people started talking about him on Twitter. He is probably one of the best, like in terms of just winning the football high up the pitch and driving with the ball. He's very good at doing that. The only reason why I might
Yeah.
not want Onana is because as a sitting six, when you get used to someone like Casemiro who is very good at reading the game and just, I don't think he's that at that level. But if you want I don't know, a more like a elite version of like Fred, who can he can play six sometimes, but he can break past defenders. He can, go box to box. He's very dangerous in the opposition box in the air. He's a beast. He's like 6'3", 6'4".
yeah, he's a threat, man. He constantly scores.
He's a dangerous player. And if they go down Everton, and we can get him for a cut rate price, I don't see, with the lack of midfielders we have and physicality, he's probably one of the best you could probably get. Braithwaite, I've not watched him enough. A lot of people are top. For me, he just doesn't like when you look at Saliba. Saliba looks really slick on the ball, and Gabriel looks really good on the ball. Like for me, these are some of top 5 best centre backs in the Premier League right now. The reason why I might not go for Braithwaite is because of just his movement looks a bit awkward. I think if you put him in a situation Manchester United where he's constantly playing against low blocks and he's counter-attacked on a lot, he might get exposed. So Onana, yes. Braithwaite, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Oh my, what are you saying? You fan of them? Them two?
Braithwaite, I'm not convinced still. Onana, I'm convinced. That's an athlete. He gives me athlete vibes, and I feel like that's what we lack a lot. We need a solid unit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited. I could see the Onana, but Braithwaite, I still want him to settle in more. You know what I mean? Give him the season and see how it pans out for him. I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times we jump the gun, chase, drop the bag, and what has happened?
Yeah.
And
he's going to cost like 70 million or something like that. It's going to be ridiculously expensive too.
It's going to be insane. So
just
monitor that and see how that goes. But I like Onana, and I know we were linked with him over the summer again, but it wasn't like concrete,
Yeah. I wanted him over Amrabat. I wasn't a big fan of the whole.
I thought he was he's definitely better than Amrabat, just because of you could say raw talent, natural talent too. You could per se. So and everything just fits the description of what we were looking for at the moment.
Yeah, I would want. I mean, if we're going to go into the next, at least we can. I guess with January coming close, we can just, we're probably going to chase center backs instead of midfield right now. So probably going to be Todibo. I think for sure Todibo is going to come in that right side. Left side we'll probably leave to the summer, and then midfield we'll probably leave to the summer because the money, man. This team has so many holes. Like I don't even know where to start. Like everything needs upgrading. And for some of you might get your wish with the manager, So
we'll see. We'll see what the new structure brings in, man. But listen, people, we're gonna wrap it up here. It's been a good show, people. But make sure you like the video. We've just hit 297 likes. Let's get that up to 400 likes if we can, man. I appreciate you guys coming on. For some reason, I don't know if the YouTube sent out video notifications, so make sure you put your notifications on so you know when you're live. That helps out massively with the channel. So make sure you do that. Big up Brian for coming on, man. Where can they find you, Brian?
Ideally Pundit, if you want to listen to someone that is not going to always criticize the manager, but will bash him when it's called for.
Yeah.
Wow, shots fired, yeah.
There you go.
Big
up to you, man. Big up to you. Osman, big up to you, man, for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure, bro.
Thank you. Are we not doing score predictions? What's going on here? Have I like that?
Yeah. Score. I'm saying 2-1 United.
Well, optimistic.
Wow. Okay. After all that waffle, he's gone for a victory.
I'm trying to say, I'm
2-1,
so
2-1,
confused.
2-1.
I'm
I'm gonna just say United just find a way in it nowadays. So I'm gonna say 2-1. I'm gonna say 2-1.
What are you boys say, Brian? What you say?
I'm actually going to go negative. I think Everton are going to win 2-0.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Omar, what you saying?
1-0 United. It's that's what it's been
All
going.
right.
You got the 1-0. That's remember last season. They went on the run of the 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and it's just gonna keep like that. The past 5 games, what took 4? How many 1-0s we seen or 2-1s? It's just gonna be that battle, and that's I feel like that's what he's working on. Yo, just score the goal, win the game, move on to the next until I figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Until
There you go.
yeah, I get you.
There you go, people.
Yo,
But make
what
sure
you
follow the guys.
predicting, brother? What you predicting?
I've gone 1-0 Dominic Calvert-Lewin winner, bro. 100%.
Oh my days, fam.
Oh,
It's your hot take,
shit,
man.
man.
And listen. I'll tell you why Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, right? Because I've had him on FPL for 4 weeks in a row, right? Or 3 weeks, I can't remember. Since he's come back, the guy's done everything but score. He's hit the bar 3 times, hit the post. The guy's been he's been unbelievable. He's done everything but score, and
He's
I've
gonna break
just
the
sold
curse.
him. I know I've just sold him, and every time I sell a player, they've scored the week after. So I'm telling you right now, Calvert-Lewin is scoring this, and it's going to be a fucking header because we're not marking him at back post on Wan-Bissaka's side if he's playing back post header. Goalkeeper mistake probably.
I need a new friend crew. I need a new friend crew.
Bro, I'm telling
Good
you.
luck with your watch along, Saeed. I know it's gonna be a tough one.
I honestly got sides. I fucking told you about Maguire. I told you. Oh,
Bro,
sorry, Saeed. I hope you're happy though. I hope you're happy too.
Big up to everybody here, man. Big up to everybody here. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow these guys on their channels. 40 Fanatics, Usman Talks. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow for the watch-alongs. Tune in tomorrow. Big day of football. Watch-along Central. Live Saeed TV. We're out. Peace.
Good night.
Oh.